The first rule of international law is the leader is responsible for his people. He is the target. If he sends troops over the border and doesn't immediately call them back, whatever his army does, he is responsible for. He is the one that is brought to justice. He is the one that is taken to court. He is the one that is killed if he doesn't surrender. He is the one that will be attacked first. And that goes, true for any and everything that happens with his army. If someone sends a nuclear bomb across, it is he that will suffer the consequences second. And if his nation retaliates for that, his nation will be destroyed for that. Because, if the world is to die, the people who start that die first. That's how it is. International policing means that no nation decides for you. We create the law that governs our police force internationally. And that means the best of the best of the best of those who are military or policing must be in that force so that we can, actually create the law and then enforce the law. In a courtroom, preferably, but if they will not, then it's, their choice and they get to die one way or the other. You can offer a large reward for their demise, once you have proof of it. You can offer, kill this one and you get to be in charge, whatever it is you want to do, because it is the leader who is going to be in charge of taking responsibility for his or her army. You are the one. And that means that, there's no sidestepping that. There's no exclaiming, there's no excuse. If you don't take care of your generals and what have you, by taking care of them, I mean making them responsible for what they do. If you don't make yourself responsible for what your nation does, you will not have a nation, or you will not have a life for yourself. So we have to have an international police force that is made up of the best and that we can offer to our world in order to save it. We have to save it. And if we have world law and international policing, that's the same for everyone. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what nation you are. It doesn't matter if you're China or America or Russia or whoever it is. It does not matter. Your leader is the same. And your leader will be targeted based upon what his army does. That's the foundation of international law. We will make the law that governs our leaders. And once we have made that law, as a world, we will enforce that law. As a world, not a nation, as a world who are given, of the people who are provided with all the weapons that they need to do what they have to do. They don't get to keep it. They don't get to create an army of themselves. They get to call upon the world through the court and say, this is what we need, and this is what we're going to do, and this is what the law says. So you're going to provide those things for us. And you don't get to stay in force in that policing situation 4 years, maybe 8 years maximum, and it's out, because we don't want people to be able to create themselves as an army. We have to have international policing that is limited to the war against leaders. If you cut off the head and the serpent dies, so to speak. And if somebody takes control over the army, they face the same responsibility. So there again, it is, the leader, not the army, that we're focused upon. That is the basis of world law. And when we have international policing and world law to govern our leaders, that means we don't need weapons of mass destruction anymore. We don't need them to defend ourselves and say, you can't come here because I have a weapon of mass destruction too. But the cost of that is that any single one of them, and there are, how many hundred people now have access to a nuclear weapon that they can use. And how many people, millions of people, have a biological weapon that they can release against us. More than you can count, because the universities have made them so. The universities have created the weapons, and the universities have made the people that are able to do it, able to create weapons of their own, and on and on and on and on it goes. And that doesn't even cover the robotic army that they're building to slaughter you. Because the end result of it is that as we overpopulate the world, we become too much, and if we are too much, somebody has to die. No more water, because it's all poisoned. And one violent earthquake, in many places of America in particular, and all that poison will be released into the water supply. It's just shaking the earth, but if you have a pressurized toxic waste underneath the water and over the water and around the water and through the water and everything about the water, it all erupts. And then there's the obvious tragedies and disgrace of all the things that they have done otherwise. All the things they have done otherwise, beyond your imagination, if you go look. Go look. Call for redress. Decide for yourselves what world law should ought to be. We, the world, need to immediately address that, and immediately create the law, and immediately, surrender our policing forces to them, so that it's not nation against nation. It's just all of us against one of us. Or if you want to join the one who is attacking others, then it will be you too. So this is how it is. This is what it takes to defend our world. This is what it takes to get rid of weapons of mass destruction. This is what it takes to understand that leaders do not get to use their army for anything they might want to. No, you can't. Is the end result of world law. And of course, our nation needs, countless other things as well. And one of the first laws of our constitutional reform is the currency must match the census. In other words, so many dollars per citizen here. And that is to stabilize the future and to stabilize the currency and to take away the claim that they can do whatever they want to. With so many, everybody has so many numbers, that's it. That's called money, that's the promise, that's all you get. This is the reality of who we are. And then of course, that makes life simple. No, you can't counterfeit anything. No, you can't declare, debts that somebody else has to pay. You can't declare a debt that I need to pay for you. You can't do that. And that would include welfare as well. No, you can't raise children for money. That's raising livestock. That's what it is. Even if you love them, you're still raising children for money. And you cannot do that. But this world has to have you have to have an option for each and every person. And that means that they have to be able to have a job. They have to be able to have a job. And of course, the job of that nobody wants to pay for, but everybody has to pay for, is cleaning up all the pollution, cleaning up, trying to clean up the poison is just a nightmare. But replanting trees and 10,000 million things there are to rebuild life the way it once was, to rebuild what we have destroyed, to stop universities from continuing on, and to return our lives to nature itself. Not because nature is perfect. Nature is not perfect, but we are the cause of most of the problems in nature. And it is we, the people, who need to reform ourselves so that, life can go on. That's just facts of life. So you get to choose. We have come this far, but we're not going to go a lot further. Take a look around you. 1 person per every acre of agricultural ground is somewhere in the vicinity of what's real. 1 person per agricultural acre, and that acre has to keep you alive for a year, and that acre has to support some of the other life around, and without life to feed on, we don't feed. We eat living things. If there are no living things, and all living things need habitat, and all living things need water, and all living things need food, and all living things need space, and 10,000 different things. Your university game is over. It really, really is. There are consequences for every truth. There are. There are no such thing as no consequences for me. Eternity will teach you that. But the world itself is teaching you that right now. Because you can look out and see that global warming has a consequence. Even you can understand ocean life dead is a consequence to you. Even though you don't live in the ocean, 1 billion people that can no longer eat is a consequence to you. There's endless amounts of poison that have been dumped from the water supply, endless amounts of consequences to the water that have been going on for decades. Tragedies all around. Literally. And of course the university answer is they're going to fly away to another planet. That's what NASA is about, going to fly away to another planet. But they can't, because they can't take oxygen with them. And our oxygen supply is threatened as well. Our food supply is threatened. Our planet is threatened. Atmosphere, everything is threatened. Without ice, the planet cannot cool itself in the summer. And if it cannot cool itself in the summer, then everything gets worse. Temperatures rise to a point where we cannot survive. People immigrate to where they can survive for a bit, but that means the people who are already there can't survive, and they keep moving north until there is no north to move to, and they have to kill each other because that's all there is. There is nothing else left. And the people who are burning down the forest, you need to put in fire fences, or be prepared to put in fire fences. That's just a chain, a chicken wire fence that's up 5, 6, 10 feet, whatever it is that you need, so that you can stop that. Stop the trash from moving across and continuing the fire. You need to do just an enormous amount of things. No more go off to Mars, no more any of that. None of it. We can't afford it. No more playing games. No more lying, no more cheating, no more stealing. In other words, everything that the university has done to keep you going for the last 50 years has to stop. Everything. There is nothing that they don't do that isn't a fantasy, a delusion, or an imagination that has no foundation in truth. Playing God has no foundation in truth. Only Satan. Which means to the people who destroy an entire planet, an entire world. And you are on the threshold of that. People trying to ignite atoms on fire is the threshold of that. That's what the claim of fusion is about. They're trying to ignite the same fire as on the sun here, That's what they're doing. Look at the sun, feel its heat from 94 million miles away. No, that's what they're trying to bring here, claiming that they don't have to worry about controlling it because it'll just control itself. It'll just extinguish itself. Not enough gravity here. Well, guess what? They're wrong. All of reality says they're wrong. All of the evidence says they're wrong. And 1 second too late means you are wrong. And the planet will die in a hurry and incinerate you. That's the cost of being wrong. And the reason that we need world law, so that we can govern our leaders and govern their cult, which is university knows. University does not know. University is what we refer to as Satan, because they do not